say I was most nervous about the homestay, just because I knew my Spanish wasn't the best, and so I was kind of anticipating some communication difficulties there. But fortunately for me, my roommate was a lot better at Spanish than me, and my homestay mom was very patient and kind of helped me work through that.
I think going abroad, the thing I was actually most nervous about was making friends and feeling kind of comfortable in an entirely new setting with new people. And I think that really made me nervous because that was something I felt like I just had to do in college, and I kind of had to do all over again, being the only student from Santa Clara on that program. And so some ways I found to kind of overcome that actually was just getting myself out there, especially during that 2-week seminar travel session where we didn't really have to do classes and things like that, and we went on a lot of field trips, and that really gave me a lot of downtime to talk to other students, get to know them, especially the other visiting students on the program who did not go to Syracuse. So I ended up actually making a lot of different friends who are from all over the country.
Thing that was really helpful for me, the IES programs have what's called a Barcelona Cultural Companion. So that's a local student around our age that they pair us up with, and that cultural companion has about 6 or 7 students that they look after, check up on, make sure that their homestay is going well, and also do different things throughout the city and just kind of help you get integrated in general. And so they provide some great events at first, and they're always there for questions.
I think as far as resources, I think the biggest resource before going abroad was actually the orientation that I had with the Study Abroad office. I had a one-on-one orientation, being one of the only students going abroad during spring semester, and at the time the Study Abroad advisor that was at Santa Clara University actually had a lot of experience traveling in China and Asia in general, and so he gave me a lot of tips on what I should look out for, what are some really important things that I should prepare myself for, and a lot of other resources that'd be available to me through the program itself.
I would say it took me about 2 or 3 weeks, which is kind of the standard get comfortable time frame. But yeah, the first few weeks you're still kind of trying to figure out what your routine is. You're eating at different times, you're sleeping at different times, you got to navigate a new city. So a few weeks in, then you start to kind of feel like you're falling into a routine, falling in step.
I think as far as feeling acclimated, I started to feel more in tune with the area that I was in once I just started having courses and started getting into routine of going to class every day, taking the train every day, eating lunch at the cafeteria and things like that, and it started to feel a lot more normalized and like a normal schedule versus being on a vacation or just hanging out with friends and exploring.
So yeah, especially in those first few weeks, you feel kind of out of place and you're like, oh, it's so different. I don't know if this was the right call, but I say I kind of combated the homesickness with reminding myself that homesickness is kind of part of the reason that I went abroad in the first place. And once some of those nerves and the anxiety from being away from home you kind of realize where they're coming from, they can kind of switch into excitement about all the opportunities and experiences that you'll be able to have while you're there.
I think that I became a lot more comfortable around week 5 of the program. I think it just took some time to get used to all of the different changes and just being in a new place with all these new people, and just learning to not only spend time with others and exploring and getting out of my comfort zone, but also knowing that it's okay to take time to be on my own and kind of process everything and just have quiet time, I guess.
Yeah, I would say the number one thing is don't try to visualize it. Don't come in with any real expectations about what the place is going to be like or what your trip will be like or anything like that. Just go into it with an open mind, knowing that it's a new experience, and just kind of let things come to you and see what interests you from there.
Yeah, awesome.
I think as far as preparing for going abroad, it's really important to know that it's okay if things don't go as expected, but it's important to keep calm and kind of understand what resources you do have when you're abroad, and to really use the resources that the program provides you, as well as call upon those in your environment to really help you through whatever you're going through. It's really important to know that study abroad is a super important part of your life, but just because you're back home doesn't mean that that part of your life is over or that it was kind of all like a dream, as some people would describe it as. it's still a really important part of your academics, and that doesn't mean that traveling and going abroad and studying abroad further or working abroad is out of the question for people. So I think it's really important to keep that in mind as students kind of yearn for that more and more after their first experience abroad.